What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, you've got Coach hanging out with you. Off-season preview series rolls on. Today, we have the Washington Commanders for you. New regime coming in, new lifestyle, new quarterback. What's going on there in DC? How you feel about what the Commanders were able to do for us this offseason, Coach?
The one ad that they had that doesn't have me excited is Austin Eckler. And part of it is because they already have Brian Robinson.
And this is coming from an Austin Eckler stan fantasy wise for like the last 3 years.
I just saw him fall off a lot last year, and I'm really glad that we didn't have our dynasty going anymore because I would have had a hard time moving him, but I wanted to move him already. Like, it's not even his age, it's that he is such an efficiency player. If he can't be efficient, because he's never been a volume player, and as soon as he loses efficiency, like, he lost his game. I think that they brought him in to be the backup to Brian Robinson, which is great for both of them. Brian Robinson obviously needed some help in the run game somewhat. He can't just be the 3-down workhorse. But Austin Eckler is not coming in to replace Brian Robinson. Robinson was phenomenal his rookie year, and that was after getting fucking shot. But everything else that they added, I know Bobby Wagner's old, but he's going to add a lot of value to that team from like a leadership perspective. Dante Fowler Jr., Jeremy Chin, Tyler Beatez, like all these things. They lost Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel, like Cam Curl, Kendall Fuller hurts, and Cody Barton hurts a little bit. But I'm okay with all those. I think their team got better before the draft even started.
I love their draft class.
Yes.
Like, I love the pick of Jaden Daniels.
Every one of these players was someone that we drafted for people.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Constantly. Like, all of these guys were our mock draft darlings. Jaden Daniels, Jerry Newton at defensive tackle, Mike Sanderstill at cornerback there for him.
Ben Sinnott,
bit of a reach at where they took him in the second round.
We loved Ben Sinnott. I mean, he's the closest thing to a Sam Laporta that we saw.
6 picks in like the top 120 picks. Like, okay, go ahead and pull the trigger on your guy. Got it. Brandon Coleman, offensive guard, gives you some tackle ability there as well. And Luke McCaffrey at wide receiver. Like, I love what they did with their first 6 picks in the draft here as far as building their squad going forward. I don't know if necessarily this year they've improved their team, but what they're set up for in the future, I love it.
Yeah.
I think they're absolutely set and ready to pounce for whenever the Cowboys hit cap trouble and start to have to figure out possibly losing Dak, figure out CD because he's in a holdout right now. And then the Eagles, they've got a couple years left on their guys' deals, and then they're going to start looking at possibilities there. Like, so setting this team up for 3 to 5 years down the road, I love their draft class. It was one of my favorites. Pretty sure they were one of our teams that we talked about on our top draft class episodes.
They weren't much worse than the Giants if you look at draft position. They drafted 2 and the Giants drafted 5. But they got a lot better than the Giants this offseason. Like, a fucking lot better. Not to the point where I think they're on the same level as the Cowboys and the Eagles, but still better.
I think the Giants got better defensively.
True.
Whereas the Commanders got better offensively. Now, you still added Jerry Newton and Mike Sanderstill, but even then, with looking at this lineup, like, their DB core still needs so much work. Like, I love Jeremy Chin, but that's not going to get it done necessarily as far as the coverage that you were getting blasted on last year. Emmanuel Forbes, it was going around viral this year of him taking a picture with a guy at his camp. The guy he took the picture with, if you told me he was the NFL player, I would have believed you. That's how small Emmanuel Forbes is. And he's out here playing cornerback 1 for him. Like, they've got to get better because Sanderstill's more of a nickel interior slot corner for him. So that's where my worry is for this team. Offensively, going ahead and diving into these ADPs, I see so much value for this team ADP wise.
Yeah, it
Jaden
all
Daniels
relies on him. It all relies on
it
him
really
taking
does.
a step into the NFL, but he's played so much college. Like there was a bunch of talks on like viral videos of him throwing touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk. Like that's how long he's been in college, and he won the freaking Heisman last year because of how well he played.
Now, Austin would tell you Sam Hartman should be the starter because he's just obsessed with the flow. And I get it. I respect it. I love the
He
flow.
likes his game. He likes
But
his game a
Jaden
lot.
Daniels going in the 10th round, Austin Eckler going in the 8th round, Brian Robinson also going in the 10th round,
Terry
McLaurin
McLaurin
in the 7th round, Jahan Dotson in the 14th, and then Luke McCaffrey going in the 24th. So, okay, he's at the end. Jaden Daniels to me going in the 10th round.
with the rushing ability is crazy.
Now you're putting a lot of eggs into a rookie's basket there if he's your number one quarterback out the gate. But man, like the risk reward factor with this guy, it's that of Anthony Richardson was last year.
Yep.
Now he's obviously not as thick as Anthony Richardson, but I do think he's a better passer.
Absolutely. And you had to take Anthony Richardson in like the 5th or 6th round last
Terry
year.
Mack in the 7th round.
Is nuts. I mean, number 1 wide receiver on a potential top 15 offense. Like this offense was very bad the last couple years, but they got rid of Riverboat Ron. Like they got rid of a lot of things. They brought in a whole new regime coaching wise. I think that
Now,
we saw the Bears are going to get the Hard Knocks. I would have loved to see this team on Hard Knocks because I would have loved to dive deep into this
first
team.
year head coaches are automatically exempt. Yeah, so they lucked out on that one. For me, I look at their backfield, and in a PPR league, I like Eckler more than I like Robinson because I think that's where his value is going to be. You mentioned it. He's coming in. You're projecting him. He's listed as RB1, but I do think he's going to be more of the third down receiving back.
Yep.
I do worry about the vulture capability because of how much you can use a running back in the screen game in the red zone. So there are those capabilities as well. But for me, both of those guys in the 8th and the 10th round, respectively, I'm perfectly fine with that. Either one of them I'm okay with taking because one of them's going to rise to the top. And if they are in a timeshare, they're probably one of your bench guys anyways.
I think Dotson, McLaurin, though, both of them have such an enormous amount of
Dotson
value.
in the 14th round is insane value for me because Luke McCaffrey's not going to just all of a sudden jump up in there and become one of their top guys. Diami Brown, we haven't really seen it yet. Like we've gotten flashes. Olamide, I'm not even going to pronounce it. Zacchaeus, they brought in from Atlanta, and Jamison Crowder. Okay. Like, so for me, that's where Jahan Dotson, like with Curtis Samuel leaving, it's absolutely his time to step up.
Curtis Samuel hurt both of those receivers last year. Him being gone is making this team a lot better, in my opinion. Ben Sinnott is not even going to have to start day one because Zach Ertz is there. But whenever Ertz goes down, then Ben Sinnott could easily come in. I don't think that we see a Sam Laporta type season out of him. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But we saw a lot of the Sam Laporta skill set out of him in watching the combine, watching some of the tape on him last year. Like he's getting comps to the best rookie tight end to ever play in the NFL. I like that. I don't think I'm ever going to draft him. But I'm absolutely watching Zach Ertz like a hawk because the moment that Zach Ertz goes down, I love Ben Sinnott.
No, not even that, but with a guy like Zach Ertz as well, like an aging vet, like right there at the end of his career here, I wouldn't be shocked to see week 3, 4, 5. Let me get it pulled up here. When's their bye week? We're going to have that for you here in just a second. And okay, their bye week's not till week 14, but I wouldn't be shocked to see about mid-season Sinnott start if he is doing the development that they expect him to starting to maybe overtake him a little bit, and Ertz become more of the second blocking tight end, heavier sets, that type of weapon for him there.
Ertz was very heavily targeted whenever he played in Arizona until Trey McBride came on. Ertz is not done. He's not ready to retire. I mean, Darren Waller's retiring necessarily before his prime. Ertz is willing to play football, and he's willing to do it the gritty way. I am not saying that I'm going to draft Zach Ertz, but if I absolutely miss on every single tight end that I love, I'll take a little bit of a flyer on a Zach Ertz with my absolute last pick. I think that it's silly not to. He's just shown that with a volume payload, he's so good. Like, over and over, every team that he's played on, if he gets volume, then he's good. And at the same time, whenever you had Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert on the same team, if you picked up Zach Ertz, whenever he went down, then you could easily cement him with Dallas Goedert. Like, it wasn't even a question. And it was kind of the same thing whenever he went down and Trey McBride finally got his shot. So I wouldn't hate Ertz Sanat as my last two picks in the draft. Like, I think that it's silly to say that that's a strategy that you should push for. But if you are trying to reach for other players and they don't work out, then I'm okay with something like that.
1000%. Like, and because like you said too, and we always preach it should be the motto. We should have it stamped on our foreheads. Rookie quarterbacks love their tight ends.
Yep. Easy big body targets in the middle of the field.
Like, we'll just leave it at that right there. So over under sitting at 6.5 for the Commanders, 4-13 in 2023. I'm going under. Like, looking at their schedule here, we both said they got better, and I do agree they did, but they also got much younger.
Yes.
Outside,
I think it takes time.
The free agents they brought in obviously are solid vets, and Austin Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Dante Fowler Jr., these aging guys. But the young guys they brought in, I don't know how much of a factor they're going to be this year, and they do have a decently tough schedule.
Basically, for me, for them to get 7 to 10 wins, they need Jaden Daniels to have a CJ Stroud type of performance.
A Lamar Jackson type rookie season here.
Yes. And if that doesn't happen, then they're probably going to win 5 or 6 games. So I agree with you. I'm going to go under. It's the safe pick. I think that with all the veteran help that they have, they could have the type of locker room that's able to shut out all the noise and really play for each other, which could lead to 7 to 10 wins. It's going to rely a lot on their quarterback. They took him number 2 overall. We constantly said that we loved Jaden Daniels. We liked him more than Drake May. We liked him more than Michael Penix. We liked him more than everybody because of what his game is. He's one of the hardest players to prepare for in the league right now. I think he already throws better than Lamar did Lamar's rookie year. Not necessarily Lamar last year, but Lamar's beginning of his season, he is a much better passer than Lamar was. Like, the beginning of his career. And his running ability is only, I'd say, maybe 3rd or 4th best in the league, which as a rookie is phenomenal. I think Hurts, Lamar, and Josh Allen are the only quarterbacks that I think are potentially going to be better at rushing the football than him. At this point, Justin Fields isn't a starter. So, like, he's not in the conversation because he would obviously be number 4 and then Daniels would be 5. But that's, I think that 7 is still pushing it. They're very young. I wouldn't bet on that. I would go under. That's my take.
But we love the draft class. So, Commanders fans, if you agree with this, if you hate us, however you feel, drop it in the comments. Subscribe for us down here below. Hit that notification button up there in the corner. That way, when we drop an episode, you get it first. TulsiRoseTea.com is the sponsor. At ProFootball_pod on the Twitter machine, or X, if that's what you're still calling it, whatever. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. 500 subscribers, free jersey coming at you. Peace out.